Welcome to the vaults of the unwelcome truths. Tonight we uncover the lies told in their names. Chapter 2. The Fires of Faith. The Middle Ages were a time of darkness and light, faith and fear intertwined in a dance of death. As empires crumbled and new kingdoms rose, religion's grip tightened, its influence seeping into every corner of life. I wandered through these centuries, watching as the Church became both savior and oppressor. In the shadow of the fallen Roman Empire, the Catholic Church stood as a beacon of stability. The popes, seated on the throne of St. Peter, wielded immense power, their decrees binding kings and commoners alike. The Holy Roman Empire, a patchwork of territories united under the banner of Christendom, was a battleground where the Pope and Emperor vied for supremacy. I saw how Pope Gregory VII, with his reforms, clashed with Emperor Henry IV in the investiture controversy, a struggle for control over the appointment of bishops. It was a battle of wills, a testament to the Church's determination to assert its authority over the secular realm. As the feudal system took root, the Church became the largest landowner in Europe, its wealth and influence surpassing that of kings. Monasteries dotted the landscape, centers of learning and piety, but also of power. The monks, cloistered in their abbeys, amassed vast estates, and the bishops, clad in their finery, ruled over their dioceses with an iron hand. Tithes flowed into the Church's coffers, enriching its leaders while the peasants toiled in the fields, their lives bound by the promise of heaven and the threat of hell. The Crusades, those holy wars called by the popes, were a stark reminder of how religion could be twisted to serve earthly ambitions. I watched as Pope Urban II, with fiery rhetoric, urged the knights of Europe to take up the cross and reclaim Jerusalem from the infidels. Thousands answered the call, driven by faith and the lure of plunder. The First Crusade culminated in the capture of Jerusalem, a massacre that left the streets running with blood. The knights, those supposed warriors of Christ, showed no mercy, slaughtering men, women, and children in their frenzy. The subsequent crusades brought more bloodshed, more atrocities. I saw the sacking of Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade, a city of Christians laid waste by fellow believers. The Venetians, driven by greed, turned the crusade into a conquest, looting the city's treasures and desecrating its holy sites. It was a betrayal of the highest order, a clear example of how religious fervor could be manipulated for material gain. In the Iberian Peninsula, the Reconquista was another theater of religious war. Christian kings, fueled by the desire to reclaim territory from the Moors, waged relentless campaigns, their banners bearing the cross. The fall of Granada in 1492 marked the end of Muslim rule in Spain, but it also heralded the beginning of a new era of intolerance. The Spanish Inquisition, established by Ferdinand and Isabella, sought to root out heresy and enforce religious orthodoxy. I watched as Jews and Muslims were forced to convert or face expulsion. The autos de fe, those grim public spectacles of faith where heretics were burned at the stake, were a stark reminder of the Church's capacity for cruelty. In the heart of Europe, the Albigensian Crusade was another grim chapter. The Cathars, a Christian sect deemed heretical by the Church, were hunted down and exterminated. Pope Innocent III called for their destruction, and the Knights of France descended upon Languedoc with a vengeance. The siege of Béziers, where thousands were slaughtered, marked the beginning of the end for the Cathars. Kill them all, God will know his own. A chilling command that echoed through the ages, epitomizing the ruthlessness with which the Church defended its orthodoxy. The power struggles between the Church and secular rulers continued unabated. The Avignon papacy, where the popes resided in France under the shadow of the French king, and the Great Schism, where multiple claimants to the papal throne divided Christendom, were clear indications of the lengths to which men would go to wield the divine scepter. I saw the corruption and decadence of the Church's leaders, their lives of luxury contrasting sharply with the poverty of their flock. The sale of indulgences, where salvation could be bought for a price, was a practice that epitomized the moral decay at the heart of the Church. Yet even in these dark times there were voices of dissent. John Wycliffe in England and Jan Hus in Bohemia spoke out against the corruption and excesses of the Church, advocating for a return to the simplicity of early Christianity. Their words inspired many, but they paid the ultimate price for their defiance. Hus was burned at the stake, a martyr to his cause, and Wycliffe's followers, the Lollards, were persecuted relentlessly. These early reformers laid the groundwork for what was to come, a tidal wave of change that would shake the very foundations of the Church. As the Renaissance dawned, a new spirit of inquiry and skepticism began to spread. The printing press, that wondrous invention of Gutenberg, disseminated ideas far and wide, challenging the Church's monopoly on knowledge. Martin Luther, with his 95 Theses, sparked the Protestant Reformation, a movement that shattered the unity of Christendom. The wars of religion that followed were brutal and bloody, as Catholics and Protestants clashed in a struggle for supremacy. The Peace of Westphalia, which ended the 30 Years' War, was a recognition that no single faith could dominate, a grudging acceptance of religious plurality. But even as the flames of the Reformation burned, new forms of control emerged. The witch hunts, fueled by superstition and fear, saw thousands of women accused of consorting with the devil, tortured and executed in the name of purifying the community. I saw the trials in Salem, the hysteria that gripped the townspeople, the innocent lives destroyed by baseless accusations. It was a grim reminder that even as old powers waned, new ones arose to take their place, wielding the same tools of fear and manipulation. Through it all, I remained a witness to the unending cycle of human folly. The Middle Ages, for all their piety and devotion, were a time of darkness, a testament to the ways in which religion could be used to control, manipulate, and destroy. The names and faces changed, but the underlying truth remained the same. Faith, for all its promises of salvation and peace, was too often a tool for those who sought power. And so, I continue to wander through the centuries, a silent observer of the ways in which men twist the divine to their own ends. The fires of faith burn bright, but they also consume, leaving behind only ashes and the bitter taste of disillusionment. The gods may be immortal, but so too are the lies told in their names.